Boy, the first 22 minutes of that first half was about as good as I've seen the Kings play in a while. The final 2 minutes of that first half, I mean, the Kings are up 60-47, and they now trail 64-62. Again, the first 22 minutes of that half was as good as I've seen the Kings play in a long time. That last 2 minutes where the Kings were up 13, 60-47, I mean, they now trail 64-62. Boy, if you're the Dallas Mavericks, you got to feel very good going into half. Because, again, I don't know if the Kings can play any better than they did other than the three-point shooting in the first 22 minutes. Ryan, I mean, what a disappointing end to that first half. The Kings were up 13, and they're rolling, and then all of a sudden they're down by 2 at the break.
Yeah, it is a disappointing ending, Grant, but you know what? It doesn't take away from how they played the majority of that half. Completely opposite of last night.
Yep.
They took it to Dallas from the start. Very aggressive defense, extending it. So I really, really liked how they played.
Okay, but I'm gonna switch on you here.
Yeah.
24 hours ago, you and I were having the same conversation, and we thought that Dallas played pretty much a perfect half. And we both agreed that they couldn't play that well in the second half, and they didn't. And the Kings cut the deficit, but they were down by way too many points to really win the game. So I'm going to flip it around on you. I think the Kings played an outstanding first half, with the exception of the last 90 seconds. I don't think they can play that well in the second half, and yet they're trailing by 2 points. And so I don't think that's a really good omen for this second half if I'm looking at it from Sacramento's perspective.
You know what, Grant? I'm going to see it the other way because Sacramento really didn't rely on the three ball in the first half, right? And they did a lot of this with defense. And that was something that Dallas was not doing against the Kings yesterday in their perfect first half. Dallas was just shooting the lights out. And the Kings are shooting a high percentage right now, most of them coming in the paint.
Yep.
But if they can continue this defense and continue this pace, I think that they can continue this play. Turnovers, last time I checked, they didn't have any.
One at the end of the half. Well, again, I disagree with you. Okay, I understand the points you're all trying to make, but the Kings are not winning at the half. They're trailing at the half. You understand? I mean, the difference is you played as well as you can play, and I agree the 3-point shot's not there, 3 of 14. But Ryan, when's the last time you and I came on and talked about how well the Kings are shooting from downtown? They aren't shooting the well from 3. Why would I think they're going to start shooting well, especially without Malik Monk available tonight? I'm just a little nervous about the second half after what the Kings did. And again, Ryan, you talk about taking care of the basketball. I mean, Sacramento in that first half was outstanding. All right. You're right. Officially, it's down to 0 turnovers. I thought they were going to get one at the end of the half. No turnovers. I mean, you can't play better than that.
No, pretty much a perfect half for them, and it is a bit concerning they're down 2. But the way we've seen this team play, Grant, today, the way they came out is much different than it's been since they've been in this lull. So I think because of the way they're doing it, it can be sustainable. Now, if we were down 2 and had 0 turnovers and we had 12 threes, then I would be on the other side. But the reason I'm optimistic about the threes is the fact that they're going to get better looks the way that they're playing inside right now.
Yeah, I don't agree with your assessment. You and I are on different pages right now, and I like that because we can have a really good debate as we're here at the halftime. Again, I'm looking at the fact that the Kings have not played 4 good quarters of basketball in a long time. I think you and I would agree with that, right? They will have their low. Maybe they just had their low when they were up by 13, and then boom, they're down 64-62 at the half. I don't think Dallas played particularly well until the end of that half. I think it's very obvious that Luka and Kyrie are trying to figure one another out. Irving was nowhere near the type of player that he was last night in the first half in terms of getting to the foul line. I think Dallas is going to play better in the second half. And I'm not sure Sacramento. I can tell you this: the Kings aren't going to have no turnovers in the second half. Yeah, maybe the 3-point shot gets better, but again, I think Dallas right now is in the driver's seat. I really do. They were outplayed for almost the entire half, and they lead. I think that's a bad omen for Sacramento. I really do. I think that's a really bad omen for the Kings going into the second half. I hope I'm wrong, but I believe that. 17-2 run to end the half, Ryan.
See, Grant, we've seen that all too many times, usually at the end of the second quarter. But yeah, they are in the driver's seat, but that doesn't give me any reason to believe that Sacramento's not going to continue. It looks, because of their game plan, Grant, the game plan's completely different and
Yep.
they're executing it. So if they continue to do that, they will be in this game. I mean, let's be honest. They have the two best players on the floor right now.
Yes.
Between Sabonis and Fox, because
yes.
Kyrie and Luka are still filling each other out at this point. So it is a weird spot to be, but I'm going to take that Kings team every single day, even if they are not going to win, if they're playing that style of basketball.
Yeah, and again, I'm going to disagree with one thing you said. The best player on the floor is Luka Doncic. Okay, he played 18 minutes. He was a 7 of 10. He was 19 points in the scoring column, and he was a plus 10. Okay, De'Aaron Fox had 10 points and was a -1. Sabonis had 10 points and was a -8. The best player on the floor is not Fox and it's not Sabonis. It's Luka Doncic. All right. Now, I would agree with you about Irving and Doncic. You know, they did combine for 26 points. Irving, 3 of 6, 7 points. Again, I hope I'm wrong here. I just do not like the trend of where this game is going right now from Sacramento's perspective, because you are not going to be able to rely on Malik Monk and his shooting in the second half. Now, Davis was unbelievable, was he not?
Unbelievable.
He played 15 minutes and had 17 points. He was outstanding, outstanding. They're going to need that type of production in the second half. Okay, I'm gonna. All right, so now we're gonna do our predict the final score. All right, I think the Mavericks are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win this game 124 to 122.
All right. I think Luke is going to slow down a little bit. This is his first game back. You know, he's playing a little bit more ISO down low. And that's why I really like the pace in the 3/4 court that the Kings are doing at times. I'm going to say the Kings win this one 127-118.
Okay. What's wrong with Kevin Huerter? 0-4. He didn't make a point in 13 minutes.
I don't know, Grant. He's just not making shots. He's being aggressive. He's still shooting. The good thing about Kevin right now is he's not taking bad looks, right? And he is trying to be aggressive. But at some point, you know, Mike Brown has to there has to be, not, I don't want to say repercussions, but if you're not playing well, you belong on the bench. You know, he's so set in that lineup that I'm not saying guys are comfortable and that it doesn't matter how I play, I'm going to get my minutes. But you got to start looking at that and start evaluating that position.
All right. I think we're going to have one hell of a second half, don't you? I mean, I do think this is going to be a thrilling second half. I think it's going to be nip and tuck the whole way. I don't see either team getting away from the other squad. I think this is going to be a very close game. And again, I'm a little nervous about the numbers here. The fact that the Kings played a first half of 22 minutes of excellent basketball. Do you think I'm overstating that? Excellent. I thought they were excellent in the first 22 minutes.
They played an excellent
and yet they trail 64-62, and they had no turnovers. And I just that to me makes me nervous in the second half. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm seeing Dallas win this game tonight down the wire. I just do.
Yeah, I hope you're wrong too. I think the Kings, again, I go back to the fact that they're playing a different style tonight, and I think that that's going to pay dividends if they execute, and they executed with the exception of the end of the second quarter. So if they continue doing that, like you said, we're in for a great game, but I think the Kings pull this one out.
Have you noticed any limitations on Sabonis, who was questionable? It was a game-time decision. Obviously, he played 18 minutes. Could you tell any difference in him?
Just maybe a tiny bit, not as much lift down low. But other than that, like on his rebounds, sometimes he'll get up a little bit higher. Other than that, not really. He's getting up the court pretty well.
Yeah. Andrew makes a good point. We played the best we could and we're down. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if the Kings can play better than they just played, and they're down. Now, I would also say this. They can shoot the ball better from three. I mean, we have to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas made 11 threes for 47%. And as I look at Sacramento, they only made 3 for 21%. The game is going to come down to that stat, Ryan. That's what the second half is going to be predicated on. If the Kings shoot, in my opinion, below 30% for the game, from three, they will not win this game. If they're going to win this game, Ryan, they're going to have to shoot above 30% from beyond the arc, in my opinion.
I agree with you, Grant. And to counter what I forget Josh said, you know what? The Kings, here's why maybe you shouldn't be discouraged. The Kings are down, and they played an excellent half, probably one of their best halves of the season. But maybe they're just playing a better team. You got Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic
maybe
across the floor from you.
Maybe.
I mean, the three seed means nothing, right? So that doesn't mean that they're still not in this. I mean, it's just kind of a measuring stick.
Oh, yeah. No, this game's up for grabs.
It. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
they're in it. There's no doubt. This game is – go ahead.
I think you'd be a little bit more optimistic had that 17-2 run not happened, or it was,
absolutely,
about, let's say, 10-2 run.
Yep.
A little bit better.
No question about that. Hey, want to say hello to Bennett's and their great restaurants, Roseville and Sacramento. Of course, Howe and Fair Oaks in Sacramento. Eureka and Lead Hill is the intersection in Roseville. Hey, listen, whether it's prime seafood, I love the redfish that comes with a side of sauteed spinach, or you're into steaks, they have incredible bone-in ribeyes, prime New Yorks. They have great fillets. The porterhouse is outstanding. They have hanger steak. It's all there for you at Bennett's. Be sure and check out their weekend brunch as well. Bennett's, big supporters of the Sacramento Kings. All right, 64-62. I think the number one stat for the Kings in this second half is going to be their three-point field goal percentage. If they do not start shooting better from three, they will not win this game. They will not win this game.
3-pointers and offensive rebounds. The Kings need to continue getting second opportunities, especially if they will be shooting more 3-pointers in the second half. So I think those two things will be big.
Are you worried about, I shouldn't say worried, that's the wrong word. Do we need to see a more assertive, aggressive De'Aaron Fox in the second half? He had 10 points in 19 minutes.
Absolutely. I feel like I say that on a nightly basis. You know, we see a different De'Aaron as you get close to the end of the third quarter, and obviously leading the league in clutch points right now, which is fourth quarter scoring, but he needs to do that across the board. It can't just be one quarter.
I would agree with you on Kevin Huerter. I don't know what on earth is going on with him. I really don't. All right. I really don't. I don't know what the deal is there. Dallas is third in the NBA for 3-point shots. They're a good team. You know, they haven't been healthy a lot, but they're healthy now. And this is the first game together with Luka and Kyrie. All right. So here's something else I want to address with you.
Yeah.
What happens if this game's tied with a minute left? Who's going to be handling the ball? Who's going to be the guy for Dallas?
Oh, Luka, 100%.
Right. Yep.
100% of the way. I mean, look at how they're playing right now with Kyrie on the floor. Kyrie is clearly the second option in this first taste of what we've gotten to see between Luka and Kyrie.
I know this is never going to happen. I'm just going, what if? Could you imagine if they brought Kyrie off the bench? I mean, and he was a bench guy that played more minutes than the starter, but you started off with Luka, and then you took Luka out and you put Kyrie in and let him go. And then obviously in the fourth quarter, you put those guys on the floor together. But could you imagine that 1-2 punch? I know that they're not, the egos are involved with Kyrie, but wouldn't that be amazing?
It actually, Grant, it's a great point. It kind of makes the most sense, right? Because they're both ball dominant and they both like to kind of be the scorer, and they're both amazing scorers. So if one's on the bench and you got the other on the floor, that's a win-win across the board.
That would be a big time no. Okay. We had a very simple rule when I did get married, as my wife was from Dallas, and I said, there is no cowboy stuff allowed in the house from any family member, any friend, or any whatever. She said, got it. So that was fine. All right. We got people at the game that are following us here, and we say thank you very much. And I also want to say thank you to New Works Plumbing of Sacramento, locally owned for over 20 years. New Works has a fix for you. Just go to sacserviceplumbing.com or call the number on your screen. New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. Second half getting ready to begin. Final thoughts as we get ready for watching this, what I think is going to be a thrilling second half?
No, I think in terms of the keys to the second half, we've hit that out. The one thing that I would follow up on, because everybody's talking about it, is Kevin Huerter. Watch how they're guarding Kevin now. He's getting predominantly face guarded, and they're really riding him hard when he's coming off screens and coming off the ball. So that may be a difference in his struggles. So take a look out for that, because I'm noticing.
All right. Second half beginning. Enjoy it. Ryan and I will be back right after the contest. Thanks for joining us here on If You Don't Like